What if the moment you feel most abandoned is the moment you've finally been chosen? You have been taught to fear the silence, to run from the wilderness, to believe that your strength is found in what you can build and who you have by your side. But that is the great deception. There is a power so profound, so absolute, that it can only be discovered when every worldly support has been stripped away. It is a power that awakens in the void, in the silence, in the darkness where you believe you have no one but God, and that is the entire secret. Stay with me, and you will not just learn about this power, you will feel it awaken. You will understand that your current state of isolation is not a curse, but a sacred coronation. By the end of our time together, the emptiness you fear will become the foundation of your unbreakable world. You feel it, don't you? The deafening silence when the world pulls away. You call it loneliness, a void, an abandonment. But what if I told you that you have been led to this place, deliberately? This is not an empty field. This is sacred ground. It's a space consecrated for a profound encounter, a divine appointment that could not happen amidst the noise and the clamor of the world. You have been brought here to a place where every external support is removed, one by one, until only one presence remains. It is here, in the stark reality of your own being, that you discover what you truly depend on. The distractions, the titles, the relationships that defined you, they were all props on a stage. Now, the stage is clear. The audience is gone. And in this holy emptiness, your true consciousness, the great I am within, is finally allowed to take the director's chair. This isn't a breakdown. Oh no. This is a breakthrough. This is the beginning of remembering who you truly are. Now, go deeper. Feel the stripping away of everything you thought you were. It's painful, yes. It feels like a loss. But what is truly happening is a divine subtraction, a clearing of the slate. The approval you sought, the validation you craved, the material, things you clung to for a sense of security, they are all being gently, or perhaps forcefully, removed from your grasp. Why? Because you cannot build a temple on a foundation of sand. Your inner world must be cleared of all the idols and false securities you have allowed to take root. This solitude is the fire that burns away the dross, the insignificant, the temporary. It is in this refining heat that your attachment to fleeting things weakens, and your awareness of the permanent, the eternal, grows stronger. You are learning that your power was never in them. It was never in the job, the money, or the praise. The operant power has always been within you, waiting for you to turn your gaze inward and claim it. This sacred ground of solitude is where you unlearn the world's definition of strength and rediscover the divine paradox. You had to be isolated to understand that you are never alone. You had to feel the illusion of separation to awaken to the reality of your unbreakable connection to the source of all things. This is where your soul learns to lean not on the shifting sands of human opinion or worldly success, but on the unshakable rock of the presence within. It's a profound shift in your state of being. You stop looking outside for answers because you realize the questions themselves were born from a state of forgetfulness. In the silence, you don't find answers. Oh no. You dissolve the questions. You begin to operate from a new assumption, that everything you need, everything you are, is already present, right here, right now. This is the secret held in the heart of silence. You are not empty. You are being filled. Look around this quiet space. It is not a prison. It is a garden, a place of divine cultivation. God is not punishing you with this isolation. He is preparing you. Every moment of stillness is an invitation to plant a new seed in the fertile soil of your imagination. Here, away from the world's doubt and cynicism, your assumptions can grow, undisturbed. What reality do you wish to select? What version of yourself are you ready to become? In the world, you were told what was possible. Here, in this sacred silence, you are reminded that all things are possible to the I am that you are. This is your training ground. This is where you learn that feeling is the key. You practice the feeling of the wish fulfilled until it becomes your natural state, your dominant assumption. You are being rebuilt from the inside out, fortified for a purpose so great that your old self could not contain it. You had to be emptied of the world to be filled with the universe. So you see, this season is not about what has been taken from you. It is about what is being given to you. A profound, unshakable connection to the very power that creates worlds. You are graduating from a consciousness of effect to a consciousness of cause. You are no longer a victim of circumstance, but are becoming the master of your own inner state, the silent ruler of your reality. You thought you had no one, and in that thought, you found everyone. You believed you were at your end, but you were merely being brought to your true beginning. You have felt the earth fall away from beneath your feet, only to realize you had wings all along. You've learned that in the quiet, a new power rises. You've felt the shift from worldly dependence to inner authority. But that's only the surface. You believe you are at your weakest. Good. You feel you have nothing left to give. Perfect. You have reached that critical, holy point where your own power, your own intellect, your own desperate striving has finally been exhausted. You see it as failure, as the end of your strength, but the universe sees it as an opening. Your surrender is not a defeat. It is an invitation. For it is only when your ego steps aside, bruised and beaten, that the true operant power within, you can finally take control. You have been trying to force the doors open with your own hands, and now your hands are raw and tired. Now you learn to simply be the one for whom all doors are already open. This weakness you feel is not a flaw. It is the very condition required for a miracle. It is the fertile, empty field in which God begins his most profound work. Your personal tower was the veil, and it has just been torn. This is the divine paradox that has been whispered by mystics throughout the ages. Power is made perfect in weakness. Think of it. As long as you believe you are the one in control, you are limited by your own finite perceptions, your own doubts, your own history. But when you are brought to your knees, when you finally declare, "I cannot do this alone," you are unlocking a force that is infinite, boundless, and utterly creative. Your declaration of weakness is a confession of faith in a greater power. It is the moment your consciousness shifts from, "I have to make it happen," to the profound assumption of, "I am that which is already done." This feeling of surrender is the key. It isn't passive resignation, it is an active, conscious alignment with the creative power of the universe. You stop fighting the current and become the current itself. You are no longer the struggling swimmer, you are the ocean. And what of this silence? This heavy, unanswering quiet that feels like God has turned his back on you. You cry out into the void and hear only the echo of your own desperation. Oh, but you are misunderstanding the nature of this sacred hush. This silence is not abandonment. It is anticipation. It is the deep, focused quiet of the master artist before the final, transformative brushstroke. This silence is a period of divine gestation. Your new state, your new assumption, is taking root in the deep soil of your consciousness. It needs this quiet to grow, undisturbed by the impatient clamor of your old self. God's silence is not a sign of his absence, but a testament to his faith in you. He is waiting, watching, allowing your inner conviction to become so solid, so real, that the entire world of shadow and form must rearrange itself to match your new reality. The silence is a test of your selection. In this divine quiet, you are being taught to walk by faith, not by sight, to trust the inner world more than the outer one. Any man can believe a promise when he sees evidence of its fulfillment, but it takes a master to hold the feeling of the wish fulfilled when all five senses scream the opposite. This silence is your training ground for that mastery. It cultivates a profound, unshakable trust that your imagination is the one and only reality, and the external world is but a lagging, temporary shadow. You are learning to find your peace not in a response from the outside, but in the calm certainty of your own assumption. You are being weaned off the need for external validation. The silence isn't God ignoring your prayer, it is him honoring the power of your own creative word, your own I am, and allowing it the space it needs to manifest. So you see, your moment of greatest weakness is the dawn of your true strength, and the period of greatest silence is the time of most intense, divine activity. You are not being broken. You are being remade. You are not being ignored. You are being trusted. This is the crucible where faith is forged into unshakable knowing. where the man of effort dies and the man of consciousness is born. You have learned to find power in surrender and a profound conversation in the quiet. This is the alchemy that turns leaden despair into golden certainty. You now understand that weakness is a doorway and silence is a conversation. But what happens when this state is prolonged, when it becomes a season in the wilderness? Here's what changes everything. This isn't just a bad day or a difficult week. You've entered a season, a wilderness. It feels barren, endless, a place where the path forward is swallowed by the horizon and every landmark of your old life has disappeared. You think you have been exiled, that you have taken a wrong turn and are now hopelessly lost. But you must understand this. You were not cast into this wilderness. You were led here. This desolate landscape is your classroom. This prolonged period of trial is not a punishment for your past, but a preparation for your future. The comforts of your old world, the easy answers and predictable routines, could not forge the strength now required of you. You had to be brought to a place where the only thing you have left to rely on is the very essence of your being, the silent, observing, I am within. This wilderness is not a detour from your destiny. It is the path to it. The purpose of this season is profound. It is designed to dismantle the person you thought you were, so the person you truly are can be born. Deep change, true transformation, is not a gentle affair. It requires a complete teardown of the old structure. The wilderness starves your ego. It withholds the quick fixes and external validation your old self fed upon. Every day you face the same barren landscape, and every day you are forced to go deeper inside for your sustenance. You are learning to live on something more real than bread alone. You are learning to live on the creative power of your own consciousness, on the strength of an assumption held in the face of contradictory evidence. This struggle is the sacred pressure needed to turn the coal of your old identity into the diamond of your true self. It's a slow, deliberate alchemy, and the wilderness is the crucible. Think of the great souls of history. Did they find their power in the comfort of a palace? Or were they forged in the fire of affliction? Moses was not made in the courts of Pharaoh. He was reborn in the vast, empty deserts of Midian. 40 years in the wilderness it took to strip away the identity of an Egyptian prince and instill the consciousness of a divine messenger. And David, he did not assume the state of a king while sitting on a throne. He became a king in the lonely caves and desolate hills, hunted like an animal, with nothing but his faith in the promise. Their wilderness was not an interruption to their story. It was the most essential chapter. It was the place they were emptied of their own small selves and became vessels for a purpose that would echo through eternity. Their isolation was their anointing. Their story is your story. Their wilderness is your wilderness, tailored perfectly for your own becoming. Do not dare to think that your struggle is a sign that you are forgotten. Oh no. It is the clearest sign that you are being prepared for a calling of great significance. The intensity of your trials is a measure of the magnitude of your destiny. This season is confronting you with your deepest fears, your most persistent doubts, not to break you, but to allow you to transcend them. You are being taught to find an oasis where there is no water, to create light where there is no sun, to hold a state of royalty while dressed in rags. You are not just surviving this, you are graduating. You are mastering the operant power that lies dormant in most of humanity. You are not lost, you are on a divine timetable. You now see that this barren desert is a sacred proving ground, designed to awaken a power in you that comfort and ease never could. It is where you stop hoping for a miracle and start becoming one. You are discovering a resilience you never knew you possessed, a connection to the divine that is not theoretical, but forged in the very heart of your own experience. The world sees a man wandering in a wasteland. God sees a king being crowned. You have seen that this barren desert is a crucible, forging a new version of you. But what sustains a man in such a place when his own strength has long since turned to dust? Now go deeper. It is at the very edge of your endurance, in the dust of the wilderness when you are certain you cannot take another step, that something new occurs. It is not a surge of your own willpower. It is not a memory of your past strengths. It is something else. A current. a lifting, a power that does not originate from within your tired muscles or your exhausted mind, but seems to flow into you from the very fabric of existence. This, my friend, is grace. It is the universe's response to a soul that has been emptied of itself. It is the divine strength that rushes in to fill the void left by your complete and total surrender. You thought your journey ended here, at the peak of your weakness. But this is where the real journey begins. This is the point where you stop walking and start being carried. This is the discovery that your end is simply the beginning of God. You must understand this grace is not a gentle, passive comfort. It is an active, omnipotent force. It is the unshakable power that holds the planets in their orbits and ignites the stars. And now, you feel it holding you. It is the strength that moves your feet when you have no will to move them. It is the clarity that floods your mind when you are lost in confusion. It is the peace that guards your heart when all around you is chaos. This is not your second wind. This is the very breath of God breathing through you. You are no longer operating under your own limited power. You have, through your surrender, tapped into an infinite supply. This is the state where you cease to be the struggling actor and become the vessel through which divine action flows. You are no longer just a man. You are a demonstration of what God's power can do through a man. Burn this into your consciousness. You did not earn this. There is nothing you could have done, no trial you could have endured, no virtue you could have displayed to merit this power. Grace is not a transaction. It is a gift. It is not a reward for your strength, but a response to your weakness. Your absolute emptiness became your infinite capacity. Your confession of "I can't" was the secret password that unlocked the divine "I am." The world has taught you that you get what you deserve. But the universe operates on a higher law. It gives what is freely asked for by the open, empty hand. To receive this grace, you did not have to become worthy. You simply had to stop pretending you already were. Your brokenness was not a disqualification. It was your soul qualification. And this power, this unearned and unshakable grace is not just enough to survive. Oh, it is more than sufficient. It is abundant. It is overwhelming. It is not a drop of water to quench your thirst. It is a tidal wave that turns your entire desert into an ocean. It does not just patch your wounds. It makes you new. It is in the flood of this grace that the memories of the struggle are washed clean, and the scars of the wilderness are transformed into marks of honor. It changes your perception, your very state of being. You no longer see your trials as obstacles, but as the necessary backdrop against which this glorious, all-sufficient power could be revealed. This grace doesn't just get you through the night. It is the dawn of a completely new day, a new reality, a new you. You have felt this unearned power, this divine lift called grace, holding you when you could not stand. It is the secret engine of the universe, revealed only to those who have reached the end of themselves. You now know that you are sustained by a force infinitely greater than your personal will, a force that is freely given and overwhelmingly sufficient. It is a power that doesn't just help, it transforms everything. But what allows a man to access this grace in the darkest hour? What keeps his heart open to receive it when all seems lost? Here is the final key. Grace is the ever-present ocean, infinite and powerful. But what good is an ocean to a man who refuses to drink? In the deepest darkness of the wilderness, when the silence is heavy and your own heart threatens to fail you, you need more than the mere existence of this power. You need a way to consciously draw it into your being. This is the work of faith and hope. They are not gentle wishes or passive sentiments. Oh no. They are the two mighty anchors of the soul, the twin pillars that hold your consciousness steady in the storm. They are the active, powerful decision to keep your inner world aligned with the reality you choose, even when the world of senses presents a contrary report. When all else fails, when your strength is gone and the path is lost, faith and hope are the only things that remain, and they are all you need. Let us be clear about what faith is. It is not a desperate plea to a distant, unpredictable God. It is a declaration of allegiance to your inner world. Faith is your unwavering loyalty to the reality you have assumed in your imagination. It is the conscious, persistent act of feeling and living from the end, from the state of the wish fulfilled, regardless of appearances. It is looking your current circumstances squarely in the eye, the lack, the loneliness, the struggle, and declaring with the full authority of your I am consciousness, this is a shadow. My assumption is the only reality. Faith is not believing in a power. It is the act of using that power. It is the firm decision to trust what you have created in imagination more than what you see with your physical eyes. This is the faith that moves mountains. And what then is hope? Hope is not the world's version of wishful thinking. It is not the anxious pining for a better tomorrow. True spiritual hope is the calm, confident, and joyful assurance that what you have assumed in faith is already done. It is the settled peace that comes from knowing the creative law is immutable and infallible. Hope is the anchor that holds you steady in the time it takes for your assumption to harden into fact. It is the quiet inner knowing that your future is secured, not because of luck or chance, but because you have selected it from the infinite storehouse of creation. Hope is not the struggle to believe things will get better. It is the restful state of knowing they already are. It is the sweet fragrance of the rose before the bud has even opened. Faith and hope work in perfect harmony. Faith is the bold and active choice of your desired reality. It is the captain of the ship, firmly setting the course into the unseen. Hope is the anchor that keeps the ship steady, preventing it from being tossed about by the waves of doubt and fear. Faith declares, I am the person I desire to be. Hope whispers peacefully, all is well. The arrival is inevitable. Together they create an unshakable state of consciousness, a magnetic field that draws all necessary things to you. This inner state of faithful assumption and hopeful trust is what keeps the channel open for grace to flow perpetually, transforming your trial and collapsing the bridge between your inner world and your outer experience. So you see, it all comes together in this. The sacred ground of solitude is where you first heard the voice of your true self. Your weakness and the divine silence were the conditions for your surrender to this inner power. The long wilderness was the crucible that forged your new identity. Grace was the infinite power that sustained you. And now, faith and hope are your conscious, deliberate tools for living from this new state, forever. They are the anchors that ensure you will never again be lost at sea, tossed by the winds of circumstance. You are no longer hoping for a future. You are, through faith and hope, consciously selecting and inhabiting the reality you desire, right here, right now. You are no longer a man waiting for a sign from the heavens. You are a man awake to the heaven within. Your wilderness was your anointing. Your silence was your greatest lesson. You didn't just survive the emptiness, you learned to command it. So, now that you stand in your own sacred power, what world will you assume into being? Let me know in the comments below. What was the one feeling that shifted inside you during this message? Subscribe and turn on notifications because this awakening is only the beginning. And if this message opened the door, the next video will hand you the key. Click it now and step into your kingdom.